Hey, Facebook family, what's up? Happy Thursday to you and my YouTube subbies. It's been a couple of weeks and I missed you. I hope you guys missed me too. As I come on, share this with your folks on your Facebook timeline and create a watch party. You know what to do to get a bunch of people here listening to me. Do that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to share this on my other pages. Sergeant Dorsey Speaks is one of my Facebook fan pages, and retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey is my other Facebook fan page. Because listen, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, right? I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to talk a little loud. Don't think I'm yelling at you because I'm not, but I recorded something earlier today and I shared it with my subbies, and somebody said they couldn't hear. They could barely hear me. So I don't know if it was me or if it's them, but aside from me getting a doggone bullhorn and a megaphone, I'm talking as loud as I can talk without, sounding like a crazy person. So if at some point during my broadcast, my volume seems to drop and you're not able to hear me, just could you be so kind as to tell me you can't hear me? And I'll try and raise my voice a little bit higher. So welcome, welcome. Sergeant Dorsey Speaks live every Thursday here on Facebook. And so for those of you who are new, what I generally do is I go live on Facebook because I have the devil internet service, AT&T, and there's crashes and freezes and pixelation and all of that. So I don't do it live on YouTube. Sorry about that, subbies. You will get my weekly Facebook live upload right after I shut down. So that's how it goes. Also, for those of you who are new to Sergeant Dorsey Speaks, I'm a retired 20-year veteran sergeant of the Los Angeles Police Department. And most of you know I am not afraid to pull the covers back, expose that thin blue line, talk to you in a real, candid, honest way about what's going on between police and community during encounters. Because for me, what I want is you to survive that police encounter. So I'll talk about things that I think the police could do different, better, and I'll talk about things that I think you could do different, better, right? Because we all have a part to play in this. So for those of you who haven't, hey, Demetrius, for those of you who haven't, shame on you. I need you over on Instagram. I need you following me, liking, sharing, whatever they do on Instagram. I need you over there. SGT Cheryl Dorsey on Instagram. And for those of you who haven't subscribed, liked, shared, followed, whatever they do on YouTube, Sergeant Dorsey Speaks. I need you here, there, and everywhere supporting me. I appreciate it. Size matters. I need numbers. So let's get to it. Listen. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Kobe situation, and I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers, but I'm just going to tell you what I think. And I don't know this to be true, and kind of I really hope what I'm going to share with you, um, I hope it isn't true, because it would be messed up if it were. So here's the deal. First of all, let me do this. Let me start with the conspiracy theories family. Oh, wait, you guys are bananas out there, you conspiracy theorists. I had been seeing a video by this doctor, whatever his name is. Y'all know who I'm talking about, brother man. He was on one. I almost didn't listen, but somebody, sent it to me a couple of different times on IM. And so I went for just about 3 minutes, and then that was all I could take. But, he is of the opinion, this doctor is of the opinion that that um, Illuminati is somehow behind the fatal helicopter crash. And listen, I'm not going to even pretend like I know what the Illuminati is all about, because I don't. Other than I just think it sounds like foolishness. But this guy was talking about, now listen, unless you live in LA, sir, I don't know how you could talk to us about our fog, because I would never try to talk to like New York about snow, right? I'm here and it's 80 degrees today. What do I know about snow in January? So for him to say that there was no fog and that that was all made up is just bananas, because listen, police helicopters, police, sheriff, law enforcement were grounded on Sunday because of fog, sir. Nobody was up in the air in a helicopter except for Kobe, and he wasn't up for very long because of weather conditions. And so, listen, let me say this. When you have money, ooh, you can do things that are just unheard of when you have money. And I know this to be true because I've done some executive protection details for some royal families. I'm not going to say which ones, but they were at the top of the food chain. Let me just say that. The wives of, right? Because generally when the wives come here, they want female security detail with them. And so I have seen, money go and buy as many animals, dogs, whatever it was this particular royal daughter wanted. Back then, it was over at the Beverly Center in their little doggy store. She wanted dogs and she wanted every type of a particular breed they had in that store at that time. And then she wanted more than that. And she took those dogs, all she could get her hands on, back to the Beverly Hilton, I think is where they were staying, hotel, where, probably you couldn't go in there with a dog, let alone a whole damn kennel of dogs. But money will get you that. Money will get you a kangaroo to fly back to your country because you just want a baby kangaroo. Can you imagine being on they're chartered flights, they're private flights that these royals take, right? They're in their own little planes. And you got a damn kangaroo that's just jumping and hopping all around the damn plane for 18, 20 hours. That's what money will get for you. Hey, Michael. And so listen, maybe some of you don't understand, but it's pretty well known here in LA that Kobe Bryant used that helicopter. And I'm told it was like the Bentley of helicopters. He used that helicopter like, I use my car. That's how he would get around, like the Jetsons. Am I dating myself? You guys remember the Jetsons? Those of you who are, old enough to remember how they used to get around. Well, that's how, he did. I guess if, he needed to go to the grocery store, he just have his pilot start up the chopper and, go to the grocery store, but not the one down the street, the one 2 cities over, because that's what money will do for you. And so as I was thinking about this situation, I thought about the whole Aaliyah tragedy. Remember the story, the way it went was that there was problems with the weight, the number of people, the luggage and all of that on the little small plane that she was on. But, they were determined to leave. And actually, I know a young woman, I know the mother of one of the young women who was her choreographer at the time, and she was supposed to be on that flight with Aaliyah, and she couldn't get on because of the weight. She was just 130 pounds too much more to put on that plane at that time, and that's why she's still here with us today. So when you have money, you can do stuff that regular folks can't do. And it's already out there. It's been reported. And listen, the stuff that's in the news don't necessarily mean that it's real. It's just what's in the news. And we know that some of it wasn't real, because I'll talk about TMZ and this reporter who is, I think, been suspended because of bad information that was put out. So listen, everything you read, don't take it as gospel. I say all the time, do your homework, do your research, do your due diligence. Don't just take the word of somebody, even me, as truthful if you haven't verified and validated it before you start spreading it around like it's the gospel. So having said all of that, it's out there that the pilot of Kobe's helicopter had been told you should not be up. And I envision him getting on the radio and saying, "Hey, this is Kobe and he wants to go. You know, we just going 10 minutes up the road and he wants to go." And when you got Kobe money, when you are named Kobe, then you know, folks say, "Okay, all right. Um, go ahead, sir." And listen, you know, I said this to someone else that I was talking to, because what we don't know, and what we, you know, may never know is whether or not there were other instances when the pilot may not have necessarily wanted to fly because of whatever. And the owner said, "Let's go, let's go." You know, money will get you stuff. People will not tell you no. People will do whatever you want. And we've seen it. Michael Jackson, I think he was paying that doctor like $150,000 every month to sit there and watch him sleep. $150,000 every month to sit there and watch him sleep because he had just injected him with propofol or propofol, however you say it. That's what money will get for you. And I'm sure that doctor knew that that was stupid. He knew Michael wasn't getting good sleep. He was just knocking him out. He wasn't waking up like, "Whoa, I'm well rested now and I'm good to go." He would just wake up, probably still wired for sound, but this doctor was being paid $150,000 to inject him to knock him out like you would if you had to go have some surgery, right? That's what money will get you. Hey, Thais, I believe too Aaliyah would be alive today, but for, you know, somebody making a decision to do something that, you know, other folks knew wasn't in their best interest. Um, so that's what money will get you. And, you know, this doctor, y'all know his name. I ain't saying it, but you know who I'm talking about. He was talking about, you know, the reason that he knows that there was no fog is because he knows. And then he went on because, you know, he's an expert clearly in this area. Now, he did admit that he doesn't fly, but he knows people who know people, you know, who fly. And he's been in a helicopter before. Me too, sir. But that doesn't make me an expert, right? And he said that the pilot was an expert. He was a professional. And so therefore, the plane couldn't go down because the pilot was an expert. So it had to be the Illuminati. And then he said, proof positive that the Illuminati was behind this is because what y'all don't know is Kobe was in the midst of a legal battle with a pharmaceutical company. Now, he didn't name them. Because, see, when I talk shit or when I talk about stuff, I like to name what I'm talking about so you know I'm not just pulling it out of my nether regions, right? If I talk about a lawsuit or something like that, I'm going to tell you who the lawsuit involves. You know, kind of like the one that I'm doing with the LA Unified School District, and I constantly name my old bosses who I accuse of racial discrimination, harassment, retaliation, you know. See, because the antidote to bullshit is truth. And so I never worry about slander or libel because I'm telling you the truth. If I name a name or if I say something with some specificity, it's because it's truthful and I don't worry about anyone coming after me. So when this doctor guy said that Kobe was in the midst of some legal battle with a major pharmaceutical company, first of all, I don't know who the pharmaceutical company is because he didn't name it. And second of all, he says that we know this is true, that they wanted him dead because they were arguing. The legal battle was over the use of Black Mamba. That's why, you know, yeah, Craig, money will get you dead, no doubt. Um, he said that Kobe was in this legal battle with this pharmaceutical company over the use of the name Black Mamba. Okay, now I have actually trademarked a couple of things. So I know a little bit about trademarks and the use of stuff. And here's the deal with a trademark and the use of the word or the word Black Mamba. For instance, Dove. as an example. So, I'm not just pulling this out of my nether regions. Dove. Dove is a soap, and Dove is an ice cream bar, right? Check it out, Google it. Don't take my word for it. So you cannot trademark the word Dove and then thereby forbid anyone from ever using it again. The way trademarks work is if I trademark Dove and I'm using it as soap, that means you cannot come behind me and trademark Dove soap as well. It would have to be Dove ice cream, Dove socks, Dove t-shirts. I mean, you can trademark that name, that word, Dove. And if you don't believe me, go to the US trademark, USPTO, I believe are the initials, US trademark patent and trademark, their website, their online website. You can go there and you can research for names. Like if you wanted to trademark something right now and you wanted to know whether or not somebody has already trademarked it, you can put that name in there and see if it's available, kind of like a vanity license plate, right? Before you get a vanity license plate, you have to make sure that no one else is using it. Generally, DMV wants you to give them 3 options to make sure that one of the 3 is available. Same thing with the trademark. So the fact that Kobe might be using Black Mamba doesn't mean that no one else can use Black Mamba. And I don't know how that even relates, if it's even a thing. Is there a drug out there called the Black Mamba? I mean, would you take, 2 Black Mambas before you go to bed? It's just nonsensical. But listen, this guy, he believes what he believes. And you know what I say? I'm not here to try to convince anybody of anything. I'm just saying with the conspiracy theories, it's just a bit much. And listen, why is it that the Illuminati never kills poor people? Why is it that only rich celebrities and athletes die by some nefarious means because of the Illuminati? I don't even know what the Illuminati is, you guys, but they only go after rich people. They don't kill poor people. I don't know. It just sounds crazy. Um, anyway, Gregory, you said that's right. Money will get you stuff, and an excellent superstition about the owners of the company wanting to keep their clients satisfied. Yeah. So listen, I mean, like I said, that was his car. That was Kobe's car. That's how he got around. That's how he got down. And John, you looking at me on a 50-inch screen? Really, dude? Can you just take a screenshot of that? I want to know what I look like on a 50-inch TV screen. And then is it high def? Because you see, John, I did my face not knowing that you had me on 50 inches, but I'm glad that I did. Anyway. Okay, so Christopher, you shared the link. Kobe Bryant trying to settle Black Mamba battle with Pharma. Okay, on that, and that's on Yahoo.com. So, but again, they could be doing some kind of battle, but it's not because Black Mamba can't be used by any other person. And the fact that he wanted to use Black Mamba, and I mean, they're still using Black Mamba. So why killing him? What does killing him do for this pharma company would be my point. And Christopher, since you shared that link with me, if you know something more about that, I would love to hear about it. Hey, Michelle, my starlet sister, what's up? I appreciate you for joining me. I would love to know, Christopher, if you know something about that whole pharma thing. Or are you saying, Christopher, that you're into the conspiracy theory, or are you just sharing the link? I'm just curious, dude. I want to know. But anyway, so that's the whole conspiracy thing, and I don't believe it for a minute. It was a tragedy, and like I said, I think probably because listen, like anything else, complacency kills. When you get used to doing stuff like I do, you guys don't know, but I drive my car on gas fumes like 70% of the time because I hate to stop and get gas. And so, that's the thing that I do. I do it all the time. And I know how many more miles I can go once the light comes on. I know when I get down to the last, 2 or 3 yellow bars, because the yellow bars mean, heifer, go get some gas. And I still won't. right? Because complacency kills, because I think I know my gas tank. And so I do this dance that I do, and I'm sure that that's true also of this pilot and Kobe and their relationship, and however long he's been driving and however much money he's getting for flying this plane, not driving, but flying that not plane, but helicopter. Ooh wee. Okay, I gotta slow down. However much money the pilot was paid to fly the helicopter, they probably were, he was willing to, push the envelope a little bit, and what I want to know is, I wonder, were there times when he didn't really like it, when he didn't like the fact that he may have had to do something that he thought, ooh, I don't really want to fly right now, but I'm getting $150,000 a month, so start this baby up. Or um, were there times when he might have went home like we all do at work and complained to your mate, your spouse, your significant other about your day at work and your boss, and how unyielding they can be, how demanding, because money sometimes makes you demanding, right? This guy ever go home and complain to his sig other about times when he didn't want to fly, but he did? And but for the grace of God, there go I. God watches out for babies and fools, and this time we were okay. Did that ever happen? Because family, here's what I think. If those kinds of conversations ever happened, and even if they didn't happen, oh, okay, Christopher, you just sharing the link. Thanks. Uh, yeah, Christopher, there was no black box, allegedly. That's what's been reported. There was no black box, and there was no visual flight recorder data, whatever this thing is that allows you to use visual flight. I'm not a pilot. I don't know. I might be saying the wrong words. So please, please, please do not come for me with no BS because I'm saying the wrong word. But I've seen two things that the helicopter didn't have, that it says, while the FAA or NTSB doesn't require it, it would be nice to have, so you don't get within 10 to 20 miles. I mean, 10 to 20 feet, I think is what it was reported of a hill, and hit it, right? Visual flight indicator. It didn't have that. So my thing is this. Isn't it interesting, family, that all of a sudden, they talking about all the stuff the plane didn't have on it, the helicopter did not have on it. Not required, but it didn't have it. Well, if it's not required, why the hell are you talking about it? Because listen, everybody's playing nice right now, but listen, I just saw something that said Kobe is worth $500 million. Now, I don't know if that's really true, because it was some guy from Nigeria or somewhere in Africa who said, if y'all just give him 10% of that $500 million, he can bring him and his daughter back. He's a prophet somewhere in Africa. I just saw it on Facebook. So I don't know if Kobe's net worth is 500 million, but let's just go with that. $500 million, and the pilot was made to fly when he didn't want to, when weather conditions weren't the best. And this time it didn't work out the way it had before. I smell a lawsuit. I hope that his wife is surrounded by folks who might be telling her to brace herself, because listen, I'm just a realist, and I think it's better to be prepared for foolishness than to get caught flat-footed. And I think these other families might be coming for her. It ain't every day that a gazillionaire is responsible, right or wrong, for the death of a family member. And we live in a litigious society, so let's not pretend like we don't. Um, okay, Thais, you said when they said Jennifer Hudson sacrificed her family for the Oscar. Yeah, yeah, that's why she won an Oscar. She gave up her family so she could get an Oscar, right? Who would do that? But yeah, these Illuminati people and conspiracy theories, I don't get into them. I don't do theories of any kind, really, conspiracy theories of any kind. But I'm just saying, I could see the potential for some real nasty legal battles over your husband, Vanessa, is responsible for the death of my loved one. Because y'all know how we do when there's a death in the family. Don't act like I'm the only one, right? You know how stupid we can get, right? I need a washing machine. I want Uncle, Jasper's watch. I want his socks because, he used to let me wear them as a little girl when I would visit him. You know how we do. So I just think that, oh, you can't connect your phone to your TV, John. That's cool. I was just really playing with you, dude. But I appreciate you even entertaining the thought of taking a screenshot for me. Um, I think that this thing could really get, um, it could get nasty. And, it's not going to be nasty for long because they'll settle, with whatever it is these people want. But I just think that, you know, when you have money, um, people will do things for you, whether they want to do it or not, because you have money. And listen, again, complacency kills. We just going up the road, 10 minutes up the road. Let's go, let's go. Um, what was the urgency? If you had to, I mean, when you got that kind of coin, you can just get on the phone and call a Mercedes Benz luxury, what are those big giant limousine bus things? Everybody could have jumped in that. Yeah, it would have took a little bit longer, but you would still be here. So what was so urgent that we got to go now? Let's go, let's go. Except for money gets you stuff. Money makes people do things for you that they don't necessarily want to do. So that's what I think. That's what I think. And as I'm talking to you, I'm looking at your, I'm looking at your comments. Debbie, you said could have had them sign a waiver. Girl, listen, ain't nobody, don't nobody do that. Ain't nobody signing no waivers, especially if you my friend, if you my neighbor, my kids play with your kids and I got a helicopter. Who wouldn't want to just jump in a helicopter to go around the corner? You're not going to sign no waiver every time I invite you over to, let's go shopping, but we're going to go in my helicopter. You just could be like, oh, my girlfriend's got a helicopter. We going shopping. Nobody signing no waivers. I don't believe. But anyway, so I'm just thinking, you said if you were Vanessa, you'd pay out before they even asked. Thais, that's why, I said this the other day because she's got some kind of fun. Mamba on 3 is the foundation. I think you put that up there. I think I saw it on your timeline, Thais, where Vanessa was saying, people could donate. She wants people to donate. $500 million Kobe is worth it. She's asking other people to donate to Mamba on 3 Foundation for the families. Girl, you better just go ahead and get that ink pen and make sure you got plenty of ink in that baby. Write that check, because whatever money that foundation is able to gather is not going to be enough. I'm just saying. Um, that's what I think. But okay, so anyway, okay, Christopher, I'm gonna come back to you. What do I think about the Disney lady comment calling Kobe a rapist? Well, listen, everybody knows that that thing happened, and that was years ago, and it's kind of like, it just reminds me of any time a black man is involved in anything, they always look for a way, they always look for a way to dirty us up, don't they? So let's not talk about the good. Let's not talk about his incredible career. And I'm not a sports fan. I mean, I know the name Kobe, and I know he's has some amazing records that, folks are just barely now starting to break. I think LeBron just surpassed him, number 3 in something, right? Don't quote me again. But yeah, so just like bad guys, just like criminals, just like anybody who's killed by police, the first thing they do is say, oh, well, back in junior high he smoked a joint. They dirty us up. And so this was a way to remind folks that he had stubbed his toe, either legitimately or not, but there was something in the record books, something in the history books that caused problems years ago. Never mind, I remember on the police department, they used to say, no matter how many, attaboys, attagirls you do, it just takes one F up to wipe out every good thing that you've done. Nobody remembers all the good attaboys, the commendations when you mess up that one time. And so, I think this is an example of that. So, Olivia, I believe too, that guy that I saw on TV with the 3 kids, absolutely. Because he said that his wife, when his wife went to work for Kobe, he said this guy with the 3 kids, he said she's like a phenomenal athlete, and I think she was coaching the girls' team in basketball. And he said that he told Kobe, nah, dude, she can't work for you. She can't come coach your girl. She's, got kids over here, and I need her at the house. And Kobe said, okay, I'll go talk to her. And of course he did. And he probably made her an offer she couldn't refuse. And that's how she wound up being on the helicopter that day. And so, this guy was just rightfully so, understandably so, devastated at the loss of his wife. And so I think for sure that he will be at least one of the families that's going to come for old girl. And then, again, back to, what happens in death, and, how families can be. And, these are not family members. These are just, air quote, friends, right? So as another example, right now, I just saw earlier today, Elijah Cummings, his wife is running for his seat. And, I had already peeped old girl's hand at the funeral. I knew something was up. I ain't mad at nobody, that, will take one for the team if that's what you got to do it. I'm not saying she took one for the team, but, she was much younger than Elijah. And, he had some health issues and all of that. And, there are women, and I'm not saying that Maya's one, but there are women out there that will, that like older men because of stability and all that goes along with that, right? And it's all good when you 20 and he's 40, but when you 40 and he 80, not so much. But anyway, so now she's running for his seat. And it's interesting because, again, just talking about relationships and death and how things can get funky. Elijah Cummings has 3 sisters, and all 3 of his sisters are supporting everybody but old girl, the wife. 2 of his sisters are supporting Quasi Mfume, if that's how you pronounce it. And then his other sister is supporting Elijah's longtime aide, a guy by the name of Harry Spikes. So you got 2 sisters supporting one friend, you got another sister and his daughters supporting Elijah Cummings' longtime aide. Everybody supporting everybody but his wife. And so I don't know what that's all about, but they asked one of his sisters, Yvonne Cummings, they asked her, how come ain't nobody in the family supporting Maya? What's up with that? And she declined to comment. Don't know what that means. But my point is, in death, you might think you got, allies, and then you find out not so much, or, circumstances change. Okay, Larry, you said that they did not step into the helicopter in bad weather. Sir, you base that on what? Do you live in California? Do you live in Los Angeles more specifically? Were you anywhere near Calabasas on Sunday, sir? I'm just asking, because you said that there wasn't bad weather. Because, see, I was here Sunday, so I just wanted to know where you were, sir, on Sunday. I'm just asking. That's all. Okay, D, you said nobody could have known that was going to happen. I'm not sure what your point is, but okay, yeah, who would know that was going to happen? Okay, Yvette, you said, I would think that Kobe had insurance for the helicopter. This family could sue the insurance company for wrongful death. Yeah, they could sue the insurance company if he had it. You're assuming. I don't assume nothing, especially when it comes to us and insurance policies and all that kind of stuff. You think folks have stuff, and then you find out later and you're surprised. Oh my God, they didn't have this, they didn't have that. I would think that, but listen, this was described as the Bentley of helicopters. This is a man who uses a helicopter like I use my little Honda, So why didn't it have a black box? Why didn't it have that visual manual flight, whatever it was that it should have had, that would have helped them not get within 20 feet of a damn mountain, a cliff, or whatever it was that they got within 20 feet of? I'm just saying. Um, okay, Olivia, you said two of the people who were killed were from your hometown in San Juan Capistrano, and you believe that they have buku bucks, but you're sure that they will sue Kobe's estate. Listen, like I said, it ain't every day a damn gazillionaire kills somebody in your family. You know how people do. You just go to Walmart and slip on a little saliva and fall down, and folks are looking to looking to get paid. So, uh, yeah, I think it's going to be bad. Ezel, you said it was foggy in South Central. Dude, I know it was foggy Sunday. It was bad. I know, because I was headed to the airport on Sunday, and anyway, so again, I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything, and I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm just telling you what I think, and I most times get it right, which reminds me of my next story about the Botham Jean family. I said from the very beginning, and you subbies were, you guys got real feisty with me when I said the Dallas Police Department wasn't going to be held responsible financially because Amber Geiger was off duty, and a lot of folks were like, they should be held responsible, they being Dallas Police Department, because she had their gun and she was in their uniform. And yeah, she did, but you know what, they give us guns, and when they give us a gun, they don't tell us where we can and can't take it. Once they issue the damn gun to me as a police officer, I can take it wherever I want. And whatever I do with it does not make LAPD then responsible when I make a decision. And I said that then because I know what I know. And now the judge has said, no, you could sue Amber. Good luck with that, to the Lollipop Guild. So guess what the Lollipop Guild is doing now, family? So now what they're doing is they are going to sue the apartment complex. They're going to sue the apartment complex because evidently attorney Lee Merritt said, I believe it was Lee Merritt that said that if it weren't for the faulty doors, both of them would still be alive. When I tell you they are reaching, are you kidding me? I get that it's three of them, and I get that they put in a little bit of work and they probably want to be compensated. I get that. But the apartment complex is responsible because of a door? If the door locked, allegedly, and don't get me started, because you know what I think about that whole how she got in there. But let's just go with that story. So if the doors were properly greased, both of them would still be alive. It is just nonsense. Nonsense. Because before that, remember, I shared with you that I had done a Ezel. You stupid Ezel. No, you cannot step in my spit because I don't spit, dude. Oh, you almost made me say something. I don't spit. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Listen, what was I talking about? Okay, Amber Geiger and them trying to sue the apartment complex. Um, they talked about how before they decided to go after the apartment complex, I'm talking about the Lollipop Guild, they were saying the attorney from Texas was on a law and crime network with me. And he said that police officers are activated the moment they see or believe a crime is occurring, and they have to take action. And I'm like, dude, you are batshit crazy. Because listen, if I'm out with my grandson and I see a crime occurring, or if I had been out with one of my children and see a crime occurring, I am not activated. I am not required, nor would any police department mandate me to get involved in some crime fighting because I just happen to be a police officer who's in close proximity to a crime. what we were always taught was be a good witness. And there's a whole plethora of reasons why we were taught to be a good witness. And so, no, sir, police don't get activated. I don't, wonder twin power, when we see a crime. And so, that the judge blew him out of the water with that stupidness. And so now they're going after the complex for the faulty locks. So folks like to sue. And people sue all the time, and sometimes they get stuff and sometimes they don't. Other times, organizations will settle just to make you go away. If you got $500 million, how much? Because I can only spend so much. So I don't know if that's what's going to happen or not, but death makes people crazy is all I'm saying. And we'll see what happens. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see what happens, and I'll come back and we'll talk about it a little bit more. I wanted to share something else with you because I had spoken about this once before, and I'm always officer safety, and I want to remind everyone about Uber, because while I was out of town, I had an opportunity to jump in one. And if you don't know, when you get an Uber, you can request a PIN number so that you make sure you're in the right car with the right driver, because folks have been victimized by getting in the wrong car. So when you have an Uber, I would say going forward, always have them assign a PIN number, because what I didn't know and what my driver didn't know when she came to pick me up was she could not drive off until I gave her my PIN number, and she had to manually input it into her system. And if I had given her the wrong number, or if she wasn't my Uber driver, she wouldn't have been able to drive me. So just FYI, if you're going to use Uber, make sure that you request a PIN number so that you can provide that to your driver, so that you make sure that you're safe. Hey, Ron, you're in Houston now, dude. Well, I'm back here in the IE, so I missed you. Ezel, what are you talking about? Somebody grease your scalp. What are you talking about? You being silly, sir. I thought I was the only one that is silly. I see I'm not alone. Christopher, you want to know my opinion on the guy from Baltimore that got shot 7 times? I did a little commentary on that Baltimore situation. Prince George's County Corporal Michael Owen, charged with murder, involuntary and voluntary manslaughter, aggravated assault, I believe, and also, just for good measure, use of a firearm in the commission of a crime. So they're not playing with him, and y'all know why, right? You know why they're not playing with this corporal over there in Maryland, because he looks like me and some of you. So if you want to know what I had to say about that shooting in Baltimore, guess what? You need to go over to Instagram and watch IGTV on my Instagram account, SGT Cheryl Dorsey, because that is where I talked about it. So, Christopher, do you have Instagram? I'm just asking, sir, because if you don't, why don't you go on over there and create an account and follow me on Instagram, so you can see exactly what it is that I have to say about that. In Washington, D.C., the police department over there has changed their policy as it relates to juveniles. Previously, they were just doing any and everything with all, the folks under 12, over 12, under 2, it didn't matter. Recently, there was an incident involving an officer who was captured on video chasing down and detaining. So you could only imagine what that must have looked like. A 9-year-old. A 9-year-old. This damn fool is chasing a 9-year-old and then probably wrestled him to the ground like a damn WWE fighter, wrestler. And when everything was said and done, it was found out that whatever crime that they thought this 9-year-old had committed, he didn't. And a few weeks before that, there was a 10-year-old kid who had been handcuffed for some offense, only to be found out later that he too was completely innocent. So they've changed their policy over there, and effective immediately, officers are prohibited in Washington, D.C. from handcuffing juveniles 12 and younger. Because really, at the end of the day, a 9-year-old, you just grab his little ass by the nape of his neck, and you could just be rough and gruff and talk crazy and probably get compliance, right? So you can't handcuff anyone in DC under 12. So unless there is a clear and articulable threat with regards to teenagers between 13 and 17, based on the severity of the crime and the behavior of the child, they could get cuffed. So, if you got a 13 to 17-year-old and, they're knuckleheads, you might want to tell them, be careful, because, you too can get got, right? Survive the encounter. They will cuff you and do much more based on your behavior. And you know how a police officer can articulate a thing, and great deference is given to their version. Bad behavior, handcuffing could lead to death. So survive that encounter. And that is new and ongoing right now in DC. There's an LAPD officer, what a dummy, Louis Mota, who is now going to be looking for a new church home. He was involved in some kind of a illegal cannabis investigation and decided to go in this woman's backpack and stole some damn money. So now Officer Louis Mota, previously assigned to Northeast Division, is now assigned to home because his dumb ass didn't think that just maybe they might have had a damn video camera in there that caught him stealing from this person. So anyway, that's that. And then let's see what else. Okay. Oh, LAPD and the FI cards. So, there's a lot of back and forth going on about LAPD officers. And listen, this is nothing new. When I used to work South Bureau Crash back in the 80s, officers would routinely, you know, um, make you a gang affiliate or gang associate. If you knew somebody, lived with somebody, had a brother who slept in the bunk bed above you who was a gangster. So, having folks be designated as gang members has been going on ad infinitum. And listen, Mike Moore grew up on LAPD just like Charlie Beck grew up on LAPD. And I'm hearing over there in Chicago, they have a similar situation. So all this stuff's been going on Charlie's watch. Don't know what he's going to do over there in Chicago about them ascribing the label of gang member to folks, because he didn't do much about it here. That's why it's still going on. And so now, because it's public knowledge and Mike Moore is wanting people to believe that, oh my God, he's clutching his pearls and he's just shocked that Metropolitan Division officers would even do such a thing. And he's trying to get to the bottom and figure out, what is it that just makes these Metropolitan Division officers think that that's okay? Michael, stop it. Stop it, sir. There are 20 officers right now who are in jeopardy, and the chief, Mike Moore, is asking the inspector general to investigate. He's asking the IG to investigate to get to the bottom of it. And I believe he's already found at least one little scapegoat, because there is one officer right now who's been sent to a board of rights. And for my LAPD family who are on here with me, you understand what that means. Board of rights is our administrative hearing. And they typically, when the police, when they send you to a board of rights, that means, the captains already know, the commanders who sit on that kangaroo court already know the chief really wants you gone when you go to a board of rights, because otherwise it could be adjudicated at the level of a captain in your division, and they're not letting the captain deal with this guy. Don't know his name. I thought I had written down. I do. It's a Braxton Shaw. So he's already been, they got a they got an auger, and they're dealing with him right now somewhere in his nether region. District attorney, LA County District Attorney, is taking a look at some of the cases that he's been involved in, and I believe he is going to be at least the very first scapegoat, and there are at least 20 other officers who are now in jeopardy. So I just think it's disingenuous for the police chief, Michael Moore, to pretend like he doesn't know that Metropolitan Division officers, do the stupid stuff that Metropolitan Division officers do. Metro has always, a bunch of prima donnas. They don't respond to radio calls. They drive around the entire city and just do what the heck they want under the guise of pretext traffic stops. No wind on your windshield, no bumps on your bumpers. And the next thing you know, you're a gang member. And God forbid, if you are involved in some kind of criminality, now you've got gang enhancements and everything else that goes with being labeled as a gang member. So it ain't like Mike don't know. Dude, stop it. Stop it. Over in Tulsa, they have their first black police chief. Now, there's a lot of black police chiefs being made, and all skin folk ain't kin folk. So I'm not really excited about all of that. But we'll see. Brother man over in Tulsa, his name is Mayor Bynum, and he was recently named as the chief over in Tulsa. Now, it says that and I was curious to know, because most police chiefs, most of them are, they're rockets. They're shooting stars, and they spend very little time in patrol. And so, because I spent my entire 20-year career in patrol, and I'm proud to say that, I didn't run and hide. I didn't go inside. I wasn't a detective. I wasn't shuffling papers around. I was in the field doing what I do. And so, and patrol officers understand, we're a cocky kind of, breed. We don't really, ground pounders, like me, don't really respect folks who didn't spend a lot of time in patrol. And that was always an issue when we would get a brand new lieutenant, particularly a female lieutenant, Julie Nelson, who didn't have a lot of patrol experience, and they're trying to tell you about a foot pursuit or a car chase, and they've been in the building. Patrol officers only understand, appreciate, respect patrol. And that's why once I realized that because I look like I look, that they weren't going to let me get in a coveted position. I tried. I really did try to get in the building, but they were like, no, heifer, not today. Back to patrol you go. And so once I realized that I couldn't get that good, cushy assignment Monday through Friday, weekends off, then I just wanted to be a really good, really credible patrol officer and patrol supervisor. No nonsense. Don't come for me unless I send for you. Patrol officer. And so here we have this guy, first black police chief. After 6 years of being an officer, he was an officer for 6 years, and then he made sergeant in his 9th year, and then captain 3 years after that. So then he was a major for 4 years. So doesn't sound like he had a whole lot of time before he started, going up through the ranks. 6 years, as a ground pounder, and then a supervisor, and executive level supervisor after that. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I hate to be a Debbie Downer. We do need blacks in positions of authority, but we need blacks in position of authority who actually have a spine. Folks who are not go along to get along. Folks who are not just breathing that special air and forgot who they were, or maybe never knew who they were, right? So I hope that this brother man over in Tulsa, Mayor Bynum, is the real deal. We'll see. Oklahoma got a lot of problems. And then a little bit about what I was doing on last Monday in in Houston, because there's a whole situation going on over there with this black police officer. He was in the narcotics unit, and his name is Gerald Goins. And what happened was a year ago Tuesday, Gerald Goins had lied to get a no-knock warrant. He said that he had a confidential informant who had bought drugs from this family. He said he bought drugs from the family, and none of that was true. He got a judge to issue a no-knock warrant. They went to the house, and if you haven't seen a dynamic search warrant being executed, it's pretty unsettling. I have participated in those, and I never liked going into somebody's house, at dark 30 in the morning, and breaking windows and kicking in doors, because narcotics are being allegedly sold, stored, whatever. But you can imagine when you're asleep in the morning, if somebody came kicking in your door, you're going to think somebody's coming in here to hurt me. And if you are armed, you're going to try to defend yourself and your family. And that's what this man did. And him and his wife wound up getting killed. And so now it's a big old deal. And this Gerald Goins, while he was allowed to retire because he had sufficient time in service, he is now facing two murder counts. And he's a black man. Um, so, he's going to get the Michael Owen hookup, Mohammed Noor hookup, no doubt. Not saying he doesn't deserve it. Not saying Michael Owen didn't do something stupid when he shot that man 7 times, handcuffed. Anyway, so on Tuesday, there was a candlelight vigil in Houston for the family, the husband and wife team who were killed as a result of the no-knock warrant. And the reason that it's such a big deal in Houston is because there are several police officers who I have come to meet and know who allege that they too have been dealt a disservice, if you will, by that police department, that they too have been lied about in pursuit of being retaliated against. I met a young man who was a police officer and was accused of raping a prostitute, and he did 5 years in prison, and can't get those 5 years back. He has to register as a sex offender, but he's trying to get word out about his story. My sister in law enforcement, Kathy Swilley, was also a 22-year veteran officer on the Houston Police Department when she says she was retaliated against, run out on a rail, if you will, and given a dishonorable discharge based on lies that someone alleged against her. And so that's the word on the street, that there's a lot of lying going on over there on the Houston Police Department. And now they have a police chief, Art Acevedo, who came from LAPD. Now, a lot of this stuff that went on happened, before he got there, but nonetheless, he's there now. And as in the case of Kathy Swilley, she's been in discussions with the mayor, and all he can say is, didn't happen on my watch. Don't seem fair. Don't seem right. I think they did lie on you, is what I'm being told, but it didn't happen on my watch, and therefore I got nothing for you. So anyway, hey Demetrius, yeah, I know, dude. I know kids kill people too, but if sense were common, everybody would have it, right? And there have certainly been incidents where we've seen police officers being extra aggressive with young people, and so that's why clearly there's more to the story than just a violent 9-year-old, and that's why the police department is changing their policy on how they deal with children. Because listen, at the end of the day, a 9-year-old brain isn't even developed yet, and so you don't get to just pick it up and slam it to the ground like you would a fully developed 40-year-old man. I know that's not what you're equating a kid to. And so of course I know that kids can kill people, but wholesale 9-year-olds don't really do that, sir. But I appreciate you for tuning in and listening and watching. John, what are you saying? A video surfaced about a week ago. The police beefing with a young woman. He pushed her. In the process, he couldn't be seen, and then he fired 5 shots. And then you could see her fall. Didn't have any further information on when or where this happened. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, John, but this is why, there's so much that goes on and so much is shared on social media. And so for me personally, when someone shares a video with me, if I can't authenticate it, if I can't validate it, if I have no idea, where it is or when it happened, I don't even speak on it. Because listen, there are, some people out there who do, stage and create incidents for there's clickbait, and for likes and for shares, and they want a viral video. So again, just me being me, and doing what I did for as long as I did, I'm always suspect of things that I can't authenticate as being truthful. and real incidents. So I don't know what you're referring to. I haven't seen that particular video. And even if I had, again, not knowing what you don't know, I probably would have just skipped over it. You said, what do I think about a mayor throwing a police chief out over a short time before he was to retire? Not really sure what you're talking about. I know there's a police chief right now, and they haven't said why they let him go. I've been kind of looking at it. I forget what city it's in because I want to know why they let him go since they're making such a big deal about not telling. But understand this, every police chief serves at the pleasure of a mayor. And so, um, depending on how much time this person had in grade in service, I don't know that they're not able to retire. Usually, when you get to the rank of police chief, you've been around for a minute. And, just like a police officer, and a lot of people get bothered when they see police officers who are able to retire before they can get fired. But, there's a process, there's due process, there's procedure, and it's not just a flip of a switch when you're in law enforcement. And so I don't know that this mayor would actually be able to prevent the chief from retiring, because when you say retire, that means you leave with a pension. I don't know, but I do know that every chief serves at the pleasure of a mayor, and if you're at will, if you serve at the pleasure of a mayor or a city manager, there may be something in their contract, I don't know, that means you could go any day. And so when you take those kind of at will positions, you kind of do it at your own risk. So there's that. Oh, okay. All right, John, you think it was Chicago. All right, I don't know. But anyway, thank you everybody for stopping by and listening. Thank you for sharing this with your friends. And again, um, if you um, are into the conspiracy theory regarding the whole Kobe Bryant situation, if it works for you, it works for me. I just think it was just a tragedy, an unfortunate, unforeseen, probably, maybe should have known because of the weather incident. And you know what? I also think, really, for real, is I believe in fate. And we all have an expiration date, and thank God we don't know when it is. Thank goodness we don't know how we're going to get up out of here, right? And so, it's tragic for those who are left behind, for those who are big fans um, of him, because seemingly to us there was so much more left for him to do. He was only 41 years old, but we all have an expiration date. And so, to that end, family, make sure your business is in order. Make sure your business is in order. I will see you guys all on next Thursday, live at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, unless there's something breaking that would bring me back to you. If you are new and are not following me on Instagram, I'm putting videos up on Instagram as well. I do a one topic story on Instagram because I'm limited to 15 minutes over there. But I try to spread out stories across my social media platforms, my podcast, which drops every Tuesday, here on Facebook every Thursday, and then Instagram is just, maybe every 2 or 3 days. I don't really have a set schedule or a set day on Instagram. And then, of course, I have my YouTube channel, Sergeant Dorsey Speaks. So, and Twitter. Not so prolific on Twitter, but I am trying to share what it is I think, what I know, what I believe might be helpful across many mediums here with you. And so if you are not on Facebook, you can hear me on YouTube. And if you're not on Instagram, you can find me on my podcast, wherever it is you listen to your podcast. So tell a friend. Thank you. And until next time, family, be good and be safe.